leaves. Well, hey there everyone, Kay here on my homestead in Tennessee. Well, today it's getting colder. And you might have noticed the wind is picking up. Tomorrow, I thought the wind was coming tomorrow, and it's really rolling in today. So I brought this big plant inside. Now this is Cardinal Basil. You've heard me talk about making pesto from Genovese basil and Thai basil. I did that recently. Check out the video right up there. That's fantastic and you really should try it. This is Cardinal Basil and this is my first year trying it. You should always try growing something new that you've never grown before. And I had 3 plants. I planted them in very different locations. I planted one at the corner of the lower garden. For whatever reason, that one didn't thrive. At the same time, I planted another one in the side garden, and that was in a row, and I thought, well, this is going to be a big plant, you can see, and I need to move it to a better location. So I moved it about 10 feet away at the end of my bean trellis, and it thrived. It made that transition no problem. And then when we prepared the side garden for winter and tilled it and cover crop, seeded it and covered it with hay, I thought, you know what, I'm going to dig that up again and put it in a pot and bring it over so it can get maximum sun over by my table and chairs over on my driveway with all my other flowers, which you just saw. And a lot of that has to come in as soon as I get done with this. I've got to go out, bring in the geraniums, bring in the lavender. I'm going to try to keep this over winter. I've been successful overwintering basil for 2 years now. And so I'm going to try to do this one because it's a substantial bush and it takes like most of the season to get fully developed like this and develop these big flower bombs. They're like snowballs. And so really, there aren't too many petals left. You can see the light-colored lavender petals, mostly of which they're gone. But I thought, you know what, if I bring this inside, they're all going to fall off because plants, just when you transition from outside to inside before winter, it's a lot warmer inside, the air's not moving around, and things just, all my fig leaves in my 3 fig trees have dropped off. I expect them to come back, but it's hard, putting them through that. So I am going to take off all of these snowballs because I have a feeling even without the light petals, they're fragrant. Oh yes. And it's milder than the leaves. The leaves, have a sharper basil. Leaves have a sharper scent. And so I'm going to take off all the snowballs. And a lot of people take the flowers off their basil to keep producing the leaves, but you can use the flowers. And right now I have a jar of basil flower infused oil going. So I put this together on 11/13, it's now 11/21, I think. So this has been a week. I'm going to leave it for another week. I'm going to strain out the flowers and then just use this oil for like massage oil. And but it will smell. Let's actually take a peek and see. It smells lovely. So. And these are Thai basil and Genovese basil flowers. So these are going to be a little different and they're like snowballs. So I am going to put them in, it depends on how many I wind up with. I may have to do a half-gallon jar. I think I will. But I'm going to cut these off and I'm just going to lightly rinse them. I know I'm going to probably lose, if I lightly rinse them, it's going to all fall off. but I just have a feeling that there's lots of little bugs in these snowballs. You know, if you've ever harvested calendula flowers and you bring them in and just lay them to dry on a plate, you'll see all these little tiny bugs just fleeing, you know, off the plate. So I have a bowl of water here with a little bit of distilled vinegar, and I'm just going to do that. But rather than oil on these, I am going to infuse vinegar. When you're bringing things in for the winter, you should prune them back anyway. I'll just let that sit for about 10 minutes. Wait for all those bugs to fall off. Now you could use half of this for infusing in oil and half of it for infusing in vinegar. It depends on how much vinegar you think you might want. I've had this spinner for about 25 years. It still works. You don't even need to trim them because the basil leaves are fine too. You could save the basil leaves for drying if you want, but I have so many. Just pack it in. I'm going to use a combination of vinegars, but I'm not using apple cider vinegar because, you know, that gets very cloudy. And in fact, I have an example. Hold on. This is apple cider vinegar with the mother that I infused with basil flowers. But now I want to use something not as, you know, not as, I want to be able to see through it a little bit more. So I'm going to use a combination of red wine vinegar, that's going to take a while. Set that there. And I also want to put a little balsamic, not a lot, just a little. Finish off this bottle just to give it more flavor. You can get creative. I've got all kinds of vinegar up here. Now I'm going to run out of this and I'm going to use just regular vinegar. I'm finishing that bottle too. What else can we throw in there? How about some grape? Yeah. That smells good. It's going to finish that as well. I think we are. Yeah. We're about to get the basil covered. That has so many flavors. Wow. Oh, that smells wonderful. Just put the date and what it is on here, and then you just infuse it. That's going to be so good. Whoa, don't drop it. Oh, don't drop it, Kaye. That would be. Just going to kind of mix those various, there's like five different vinegars in here. So, some of which I made. I mean, I made the ACV with, well, I didn't make the vinegar. Yeah, no, I did make the vinegar. I made the grape vinegar with the help of my friend Gina. The grape and the, did I put any other homemade? I think that was all. The grape vinegar was homemade. And the ACV with basil was infused. And then there's a little balsamic, some red wine vinegar, some regular distilled vinegar. And boy, is that going to be fantastic. So I really encourage you to try growing this. It's so different As you can see, the flower shape is so different from every other basil, and it's gorgeous. And of course, it's late bloomer red. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you subscribe. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next video.